pointed.
Absolutely. But we do see the calamity of the Sacred Beasts, Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder, adding that powerful Sacred Beasts released from the deck to the hand here as well. Or, like, this card is absurd. Add 3 and discard 2. What an absolutely incredible card this is. We're adding the Creator, the Martyr, and Uriah, able to discard, what are we discarding here? 2 heavy polarizations there as the effect resolves. It is absolutely incredible.
That checks out going first. The big question is, does Jonas have some of the incredibly powerful non-engine in his hand? Maybe some hand trips that he can throw at his opponent so far. There was not really a need to. You don't necessarily need to play around cards like Triple Tactic Talents in Genesis too much. So keeping something like Mulcharmies in hand is still rather fine. But also, the in-engine of the Blitzclique deck is pretty strong because you have Crackle. That one destroys something, and then you have destroyed something via the effect of a Blitzclique card.
Yeah.
Therefore, Whisker actually hits like a truck and can get another card destroyed. And then the Crackle triggers, and then you also have the negation. So if you have this combination, that's like having Holly Sue with all of the cards in hand.
Absolutely. It really is an insane way to start the turn. It obviously won't always happen because you won't always have that exact number and the exact type of cards you need in your hand.
What do you mean? I can't choose?
No.
I've activated Pot of Sloth.
It's my turn.
Okay, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. But we have the Sacred Beast Thunderclap as well, able to activate a further 3 Sacred Beast spells from the deck face up straight away. That's where you get that wonderfully powerful Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast field spell as well. Another one which you can activate thrice per turn to add. Absolutely incredible. The value you get off of each of these Sacred Beast cards is truly amazing.
Chaos Origins really did something there.
Yeah.
That is, people were so hyped about the Blitzclique cards. And about, of course, the Light and Darkness Ritual cards. However, nobody saw it coming that the Sacred Beasts are so crazy. Plus, they are so crazy with the Blitzclique cards as well. Because which one is the best engine cards for the Blitzclique deck? It's the City.
Yeah.
The Hideout in the Skies.
The column.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
This one you can easily search if you have 2 level 10 monsters on the field, because then you can overlay into the new Earth Machine Exceeds, search for a Planet Pathfinder, get another normal summon, and then tribute the Planet Pathfinder to search any field spell in the game.
It is kind of insane. It's a wonderful thing just to add into any strategy that can add that Planet Pathfinder and might not need a normal summon. So many field spells, so many decks that have a field spell in it start with the activation of that field spell. So if you can just use your combo to grab that Planet Pathfinder, you're going from there. You're laughing at that point.
We're setting up the trap already. Oh, this is looking so incredibly good for Richard already. I think every time you start with your Sacred Beast combo, you're absolutely golden.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% on that. We have the Uriah, the Inferno of the Sacred Beast, Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, to the field now as well. I love how long the names are. They didn't shy away from that, and I'm a huge fan of how long the names are on these cards.
Yeah.
It's so good. Uriah, again, I mentioned before, has this incredibly powerful effect where it can destroy an opponent's spell trap without your opponent being able to respond to that. And we do see here the summon of, I believe that's Varudras.
Yep, because if you already have access to the engine, why would you waste your rank 10 Exceeds on trying to summon out something like the Earth Machine Exceeds that gets you a Planet Pathfinder? If you already have everything, you could just put out Varudras, one of the strongest Exceeds monsters in the game.
Absolutely. We see the activation here of one of the field spells, I think. Going to summon the creator, the summoner of the Sacred Beast, rather, to the field here. I keep calling it creator because the card on it is the creator, and again, it trips me up, and I didn't know that was part of the story. But we see the summoner of the Sacred Beast in the field as well, summoning that Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder as well. That is a full complement.
It's hilarious that we actually discard the Planet Pathfinder for this. I find that very, very ironic, because we kept teasing how good this card is and how strong the combo is, but we don't really need it, do we?
If you don't need it, you don't need it. And now we do see the start of the Blitzclique plays here as well, really showing off the ability to just swap back and forth between. Once you have your setup of one field, why not just swap to the other? It's working perfect.
Yeah, but now the only problem that you're possibly having is that you are maybe lacking a little bit of monster space, because you can't summon into the extra monster zone. So basically the 6th monster zone is blocked, as you can see here.
Absolutely correct. It is an unfortunate, what's that unfortunate? An interesting fact of the Genesis format as well. It does stymie some Dex plays, and obviously does completely lock out certain strategies. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way it works. Interesting to see how much of the strategy we're going to be going for here with the Blitzclique stuff, as we have so much on the field already, just with the Sacred Beasts.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Now we got rid of the hideout in the sky, so we can summon out the Grain Blitzclique. We actually get to pop the token as well, so Grain can search us the breakaway, and now we start playing with our Blitzclique engine.
I do find it very interesting. I don't think the Sacred Beasts really lock you anywhere. So the fact that you can use them to search Planet Pathfinder, you can kind of cross them with any other field spell reliant engine in the game. I'm realizing that now as I'm saying it. That's crazy.
It is completely insane. However, it does take away a lot of main deck spaces, so there is not really a lot of room for non-engine, considering that the non-engine in Genesis is rather low power compared to the engine pieces that you are playing. I think that's a trade you could just make, because you are getting so many bodies. And that is so cool. You keep the Raviel on the field because the Sacred Beast combined assault actually summons back one of the Sacred Beasts, and then if you have 2 or more, you can negate a card and destroy it. So we have already set up so many crazy cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the summon of the Surge here as well. I'm going to get that breakaway and the Kowloon back to the hand as they just do, and activating the Kowloon again there. Doing such a good job at keeping itself recursive and in the game here. And passing back to Jonas.
Yo, go break that, Jonas. That is
I believe in you.
A tough ask. I mean, you could start off with a Forbidden Chalice on something like a Varudras. That would help a little bit. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just extremely okay.
We see the Lava Golem being slammed down onto Richard's mat there, removing the Varudras and the Surge from the field, leaving the Raviel, interestingly, but there aren't really anything to use the effect of Raviel at this current moment in time. So that Lava Golem is going to be extremely impactful here.
Yeah, taking away the Surge is probably taking away something like a Crackle or a Whisker Surge during the turn. So I do vibe with that decision. And Lava Golem can get rid of a lot, but not of everything. Also, the second breakaway effect then is disrupted, and that is you bounce one of your Blitzclique monsters from your field to your hand, and then you destroy a card, and that is also disrupted. But Return Stroke is of course the card you are playing instead. You already have the Alternator developed. That is a Step Leader.
Interesting to see. You mentioned before about how you really need that sort of deck space to make this sort of deck work, but this is a 60-card deck here for Richard, so it makes a lot of sense that he's got so much of this low-pointed, powerful engine at play here.
I find it insanely funny that you're playing 60 cards in Genesis.
Basti and I said the same thing. It's absolutely absurd that in Genesis, where you really need to keep your count down, it's 60 cards. Is that another Lava Golem?
I believe it is, my friend. That could calm down already. The question is, do you want to throw it on just the Raviel, just to stop the Sacred Beast's combined assault from annoying you, basically?
It'll be very interesting to see what we go for here.
Is that a Crackle that we're summoning with a Step Leader? Step Leader has the cool effect that it destroys itself after it summoned out a monster, so that something like the Crackle Blitzclique can actually trigger here. But Crackle is not the greatest card to find and to start playing with, even though getting an Alternator is quite cool. But that is also a resource that you're using. Alternator Graveyard effect is quite important. Now we're getting the Hamon out. Or the Uria. Okay, we got the Uria.
Both very powerful cards at the moment as well. The Uriah being able to, again, without able to respond, destroy an opponent's spell and trap, which also benefits your Blitzclique. And there comes the second Lava Golem. Oh no!
That card is massively strong to break fields, but if you do not have anything, then how? Okay, we are going for a Surge. Surge is going to destroy that Lava Golem, and I do believe that these are not protected by the Return Stroke, because this card protects your Blitzclique monsters from being destroyed by card effects. So the Lava Golems are not protected. What else are we having? That is the Step Leader that added itself back from the graveyard. That card actually once per turn, I think, just adds back a Crackle or something if you destroyed something.
Yeah.
Always setting a card.
Interesting.
Jonas has really done his best to play through this. There's, of course, no point in conceding in an untimed top cut match. But apart from the Sacred Beast engine that is also incredibly recursive, just look at the Blitzclique cards that Richard just has on his field. That is an Alternator, that is a Return Stroke, and a Kulum. So he basically has everything set up. Doesn't matter what he has in hand. Kulum can search for one of these incredibly powerful Blitzclique cards.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing Richard here considering his play. Exactly like you say, there's no point in rushing a top 4 on-time match here. Got to keep up pace of play, of course, but there's no need to rush yourself if you don't feel the need to do so. Shuffling the deck, ready to draw for this turn.
Actually, does that play on its own? I don't even think it does. Yeah, you can play. You can search for Grain, destroy the Alternator, and then Alternator effect to Breakaway. And then what? Blitzclique is a really tough to pilot deck because you have to make a lot out of so little sometimes. And even if you have 3 different cards that search you something on your hand, sometimes it doesn't even play.
Absolutely, yeah. Once again, Richard considering plays here. We did see the Martyr of the Sacred Beast and the Sacred Beast Thunderclap added back to hand here. So like you say, an extremely recursive engine. I think we're going to have a graveyard effect here of the Sacred Beast released here. Allows you to, I believe, search for a level 10 monster, unless I'm much mistaken.
And that is going to be... I actually don't know.
I recognize it. It's a new TCG exclusive from Chaos Origins. I could not for the life of you tell you the name of that card.
Well,
it's concerning.
We're going to see it soon, but we are revealing the Harmon effect from hand. It is so crazy that these cards... Oh, we activate Raviel, and now we search for the Harmon. Now we're discarding the Thunderclap to special summon out our new TCG exclusive.
Just trying to find that card for us now. I know it's a level 10 Pyro, that much I'm aware of, which is why it's searchable with the Sacred Beast release spell there. We just grab that up here.
Yeah, you slam those into Neuron, and I will see where this game is going, because now Surge is being taken care of. We have fused with it into a Mixusia.
Mixusia, the confounder, very powerful card, but that card is the Yomagna, the Fire Phantom. Could not be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand by shuffling 3 cards of the same type. And we see scooping up here as well. Very well done from both our players in this game.
Richard taking the lead here with a huge, massive combo. Blitzclique is not known for its gigantic fields, but if you combine it with the Sacred Beast engine, there is quite a lot that you can add to it. You can actually just set up a trap that is an Omni Negate and a Destruction, plus a Varudras. That is huge. And I think, even though Blitzclique is like the most played deck here in this Genesis tournament, and people have been anticipating it for such a long time, I think the Sacred Beast actually did the heavy lifting here.
I have to agree with you. I think the deck is very overlooked. Even Advanced Constructed, it can do a lot at the moment. I think it's a heavily overlooked deck, and very exciting for me to see as a bit of a GX fanboy, seeing all these cards do so well in the current format. Also, I think it has some interesting synergies with the EUWCQ engine as well, as that also has level 10 Fiends, and even again in the anime there's synergy between that as well.
Yeah, that does make sense.
seeing both of our players' side here. Some interesting side options I remember from Rashad's deck. I don't believe I've seen Jonas's side deck yet, but I suppose we'll see how that continues to progress in this next game as well. But yeah, that card, the TCG exclusive we saw, Magda the Fire Phantom, has a very powerful effect here. You can declare a monster type. It becomes that type until the end of this term. During the main phase, you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on either field, including this card. So basically, that is a free way to recycle more resources from graveyard with the summoning condition, and then summon Mixuzi the Confounder, which is a powerful way to fuse during the opponent's turn as well.
What a huge card. We are seeing that our players are already there, shuffling up, so let's go over to the table to game 2. Now I have just realized, since we are not on the main featured match, we are always at the table, so saying let's go over to the table really does not make any sense. However, welcome back. Game 2 is about to start. Richard is in the lead versus Jonas, and wow, that was a first turn, but now it's Jonas' turn to start. The big question is, can he come back in a potential game 3? Because if this is how Richard's deck always plays on the first turn, he's going to need a bunch of entraps.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting to see. I think it did do okay last time it was on at going second, but again, I think those Blitzclique cards are so good at going second into any kind of established field, so it'll be interesting to see how Rashad sees a way to play against Jonas here.
Now, before the players get going, I want to brief you a little bit that we are going to wait for the finals after this one, because we are going to also show the backup featured matches for the top 8 matches who's going to go to the World Championship in constructed TCG. So after this, we're not immediately showing the finals, but we are going to show more constructed, because we really want to see every single one of those fantastic games where it comes down to who is going to be a potential World Champion 2026 in Tokyo. But Jonas now starting off with a breakaway into an alternator. And again, don't forget, this deck it really does not have any sort of one-card combinations. Now, that is something that I've seen myself do with the deck in my short time with the deck. You have like 1 or 2 cards, and you're really trying your hardest to figure out if you can do some sort of combo.
I think those decks can end up being the most interesting to watch people play, because, again, they aren't linear in how they play. You have to really think and consider how your game's going to go, how your turns are going to play out here. Sending that Crackle back to the deck to add the Surge to hand here as well with Alternator.
Oh, I'm quite curious about that. I had something else in mind. I thought I saw an Amy, so I thought you would want to search Grain, destroy the Alternator. Oh, we already have Grain. That is huge with the search as well. After the normal summon, Alternator popped, breakaway added back to the hand, and now we definitely do have a combo on our hands. We can search for a monster. Might be the big boy, the Whisker.
Looks like it may well be. Again, that card is so incredibly powerful in any format, but especially, I think, in Genesis here, because it has that effect to just summon, destroy, negate, does so much as an incredibly powerful boss monster. And we see the hidden city in the sky column here as well.
Hideout in the sky.
Hideout, sorry.
This is not Subterra, my friend.
I get confused.
I understand. This happens to me quite a lot too. I don't know how many names I've butchered today. But we activate Search now as well, or we have resolved Search, so Hideout is being played. We get another token, and now we actually have every single card of our engine accessible to us. So I think we might actually just see a Crackle add back that we have just shuffled back with the Alternator before.
Interesting, yeah. We're fascinating to see again how Richard manages to play into this field. I don't know that Blitzclique necessarily puts up the most insane fields, but it's good at just like keeping your opponent off of things and grinding out a good game here.
That is Amy.
We see the Emmy there as well. We do.
You search for Amy to just extend here, destroy his own hideout in the sky, so does not want to get rid of the token just yet. but activates now Whisker, of course, and that does make sense because you need to destroy at least one card with the Whisker. So you are adding back the hideout in the sky that was previously destroyed by EMI. Now we are going to add the Step Leader to our hand because we already have hideout in the sky in rotation.
Yeah.
We also have the breakaway in rotation. And of course, EMI is going to give us the Thunderstroke access. And that is one of the most important cards in the mirror match because it says that your Blitzclique monsters cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. And I don't think I need to explain this, right? Because your opponent really needs to destroy your cards. Yeah.
Pretty darn good indeed. Going to see Richard here going into his first turn of this game. An impressive field set up by Jonas here with 2 set cards. We don't necessarily understand exactly which are which or what order they're in, but we know roughly that they are what they could be here as well. And we'll see Richard drop a turn. Let's see how he plays this out.
If you're curious why the EMI is just chilling on the field and what the purpose is, it's that there is a negate in Whisker that you can use by bouncing one of your, or adding back to hand one of your Blitzclique monsters. And if you choose to add back your EMI, she is actually going to trigger Special Summon herself out and then target, destroy another card. Not happening!
Lava Golem!
Upside down. That is Australian Lava Golem. Oi, mate.
We do see that second game in a row where Lava Golem has hit the field and become a real huge problem for the player whose field it sits upon.
But now the big question as well, Richard, do you have something to play? Because yes, those cards were tough to play through, but I can guarantee you that Jonas, if he even has a breakaway and the good old Thunderstroke, he does have answers to things.
Absolutely, yeah.
He can find his way into a Whisker once again.
100%. I think we probably do have those things available to us here as well. Would not surprise me if we do. I think we saw one of them during Jonas' turn, so it probably is still going to be there because it can add back to hand and reset itself. Considering a move here for Jonas.
The question is, does he want to use Breakaway to get the Alternator immediately so that he can search out a Whisker once again? Because that wouldn't destroy anything, and then Whisker is not alive so far. Oh, we have used Breakaway to bounce our own grain and destroy the Lava Golem.
Interesting.
That plays around the second Lava Golem, actually.
It does. It really, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and Step Leader is actually going to give us back a Blitzclique monster from hand. That is so huge because then we have found our way into Whisker immediately. Typhoon!
Oh, we see the Typhoon here meeting the activation of Step Leader, stopping that in its tracks.
That is absolutely huge. Or is it? Because now Search can just vary with the searching targets, right? Because you, and maybe before that you would say, hey, I'm going to search a Crackle, but no, you can also just take a Whisker. That is still huge.
That is really big. I like those quick back and forth, impactful plays that happen during these games. Still considering our plays for Richard here. Not a lot has happened here, just a couple of interactions to break apart Jonas' field. Not a huge amount has actually occurred though, we can see.
I mean, he just started playing, he revealed the Raviel, discarded it and added the Hamon before that. So he is trying to start playing with the Sacred Beast engine. So actually has used some cards to bait out a lot of interactions actually, and is now going to kick off things with the Sacred Beasts again.
If we do get this Sacred Beast released into the graveyard, I don't know that it can activate this turn. However, I think at the very least...
Each.
Is it both effects once per turn?
It's each turn.
In that case, we can search the Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju here as well, if needs be.
But we're going to negate that with the Return Stroke, adding back our search from our field to the hand. But that is not the worst thing in the world, because we have access to another Whisker. We have already destroyed a card with a Blitzclique effect. So
That we do.
Whisker can be triggered. Now Richard is just saying, hey, you know what? I am playing Blitzclique too. Alternator set by, or activated by the Breakaway. Oh, and now Jonas wants to deny the draw, and he wants to really set up a big field. There is going to be at least, I think, the grain being summoned, but Search has already been used, so I think I would keep that resource in hand. We pop the Alternator, and now the grain is, of course, going to trigger immediately in a new chain. Alternator can still get us a Columbus at least.
Absolutely it can, yeah. Is that We're skipping up for Richard here, I think.
Yeah.
And that is going to be moving on to Game 3. Well done to Jonas there for the win on Game 2. Again, it's one of those things where sometimes you just have the enough cards, enough interaction, even with those powerful field-breaking effects that Richard had, isn't quite always enough.
Sometimes you have to be brave, like Jonas here saying, hey, your alternator effect, I think, even though this card is a valuable resource in the graveyard, I'm still going to deny you this first effect because you have already given away one of your Blitzclique cards. So I'm going to pop this one and see if you can still play, because he knows the engine well. He knows this Blitzclique engine is not going to combo off with one-offs. He found the right choke point for the Sacred Beast engine as well. So that was phenomenally played. But now that is going to be the uphill battle, playing versus a player of Richard Schaber's caliber, who is going first with such a huge combo deck. And when I say huge, I mean huge, because it's 60 cards.
Literally huge, yeah. Like you say, it's sometimes you just have to take that chance. You have to try and think what leads to this leads to this, this leads to this, and you do the sort of the flow chart in your head. There comes a point where you have to think, I can't stop what comes after this. This needs to be what gets stopped now. And if it works, wonderful. If it doesn't, that's a shame. But it worked here, and that did win Jonas the game. Considering their siding options carefully here, once again, it seems.
Yeah, usually you can see, for example, Richard was being super quick with the siding because you have your pre-made plans, right? Of course, you can't take a sheet of paper to the table where it says this on there, but you can just have your pre-made plans in mind. Siding patterns that have to be memorized before the tournament. But sometimes you're playing versus different odd strategies, perhaps, and there your choices aren't as clear anymore. Maybe you have a side deck plan for Sacred Beast, maybe you have one for Blitzclique.
Yeah.
But what are you doing if you're playing a combo wombo? Do you side in everything? Do you have enough cards to side out for everything?
Yeah, very good point. You do have to sort of think what's going to hit the most general things here. And I think it can be difficult to make those plans and get those correct plays in order, but I think that does come down to deck building. You have to make sure your side deck is prepared for everything in that situation.
And honestly, that is incredibly hard in tournaments like this, because in Genesis, every single deck is basically different, right? There's so many different decks. We had Dark Lords on top of Swiss facing Labyrinth. Side for all of those.
Absolutely. I think we do see the players shuffling their decks after siding here, and we are ready to move on to Game 3.
All right, who's going to advance to the finals? There's a lot on the line because the top two players,
Jonas and Richard here, are going to be having a rather difficult game for this Game 3. Just a last bit of pile shuffling there for Jonas and getting ready before we move on to this game proper.
Sorry, I had a small coughing fit. The last two players standing in this tournament are going to go to the Japan 2, to the Jump Festa. Of course, other prizes as well, but this big journey is definitely something you do not want to miss out on. So whoever wins goes to Japan. Will also receive full sets of some of the latest additions to the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG.
Absolutely. I want to go to Japan. Why can't I go? You know? Because I didn't enter?
Play better.
I'm trying. But we see them a last shuffle here before we get started on this last game of this match.
Very sure that Richard is going to start 60 card decks. Sometimes they just are unstoppable, but sometimes they also have no way to play. Which one's it gonna be?
Yeah, very good point. It is the issue with 60 card decks full of engine like that. However, it is just kind of two separate engines, so it's not as if it's 60 cards of like a little bit of this, a bit of that, comboing a bunch of stuff. It's just this and that, and it's all of everything. So it's actually kind of a lot of different ways you can start playing here.
It does sound quite consistent, actually. Starting off with a breakaway, that on its own does very, very little. However, alternator with another card together is already sounding a lot better. So we are, for costs, shuffling the Whisker away. Oh, I am seeing some side deck cards in the hand of Jonas. That is one powerful side deck card, let me tell you.
Absolutely. And we're adding Oh, that's how that works. We add the Hamon to hand because it's a Thunder Master we can add off of Alternator. That's really cool. I've just realized that that's how you make that work. It's been a long day. So we see that cool combination here, that bridge. Hamon's effect to add the Sacred Beast released from the deck to the hand here as well by revealing and discarding, I believe.
Yep, and the release is going to resolve. Not enough points for some cards that could stop this easily. So this card. Love the artwork, by the way.
All the artwork is phenomenal, I have to say. It looks so, so good. I think my favorite's got to have to be Uriah. It looks amazing. We see that resolving, as you say, and we're moving into this revealing, or adding the three, I should say. So we're adding the Creator of the Martyr, and the Summoner of the Martyr, and Raviel, and discarding 2 cards here. We have a 7th Ascension and a Trap. I think that's a Typhoon.
It is a Typhoon, and if you're about to full combo, I don't think you need a Typhoon.
No, not at all. And at this stage, you'd expect to be able to full combo because you played through a good few points where you would expect to have met some form of interaction here, actually. So we're going to go here for... just thinking about what he's going to move for here. Got a few ways that we can play, considering either the Martyr or the Raviel, it seems.
But you could also see, I think, a little bit of fear in Richard's eyes when he activated that Alternator and shuffled back the Whisker, because I think a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit would have really done some damage there.
Absolutely. I think we needed to access the Sacred Beast engine here, and thankfully we were able to. And we do see the Crackle being revealed here from Jonas' hand, destroying that Martyr and stopping it from being able to stick onto the field here.
We're getting access to the Sacred Beast Thunderclap. That card, obviously, as we've seen time and time again, is going to replace itself. Or not replace itself, but it's just going to activate more copies of itself. So this card, the primary way to summon out a Harmon.
Yeah, I think it activates 3 Sacred Beast spells from the deck, so it's the other 2 and the field spell as well, which is why it's so, so powerful in this strategy, because that field spell is insane. Again, this deck just pluses and just keeps gaining advantage off of every single play. It's so hard to stop them once they start going, because they just have so many cards and so much advantage to be able to keep playing the game.
It's so crazy. How many free cards can you get of basically nothing? Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast. Also an incredibly powerful field spell. But speaking of incredibly powerful field spells, there is a card in hand for Jonas that is going to see the daylight now. That is Vados. We have had Crackle. We have Vados. We're summoning it over to our opponent's side of the field. We're giving him a big body that is, luckily enough, not a level 10 monster.
Yeah.
But we are taking away the Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast. Oh, and that, of course, is going to trigger the Crackle that we have used before on the Martyr. So we are actually setting up our own turn already. Also, I think we could use Alternator, unless it's only on your own turn, to search for a Spell and Trap card. For a quick second, I thought you could search Whisker. That would be completely broken.
That would be kind of insane. I think there are those synergies between the decks. I think there are these little synergies here and there that just make both decks work together so well, and surprisingly well, I'd say. I don't know that anyone really had this combination of cards on their radar, and yet here we are in the top 4 match here. Ricard with a single loss, 12 wins to 1 loss, and clearly it works phenomenally well.
I think right now Jonas is looking at the second Vados in hand, and he is thinking to himself, or he's reading, can I do this? Can I do this twice? Can I actually do this one more time this turn? Because if a Hideout in the Sky Column is being activated, that is also a little bit troubling. That is the biggest problem with playing against these double engine decks. That is, if you stop one engine and you would have completely out-hand trapped it, sometimes they just throw another starter of a completely different deck at you, and then they combo off there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does seem Vados is only once per turn there, so I don't think we're going to be able to get the second usage of that card out here.
But setting up a Vados already on your opponent's turn is kinda massive, because this card, when it gets removed from the field, it is going to blow up everything.
Can what level's Vados? 10?
9.
9. Ah, Varudras would have been really cool to use someone with Vados there.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because this is luckily not level 10, because giving it over to your opponent, that would be basically an issue. If this card is removed, you also, everything on the field is going to blow up, and that is so strong.
We do see the breakaway being added to Jonas' hand here as well.
Yeah.
Back into this Blitzclique strategy that has proven itself to be so powerful this weekend, both in Genesis and also put up a very good showing in Advanced Constructed as well.
That is true. We had some pretty strong players for quite some time. Oh, and Yugioh is going to pop the Alternator. Alternator is going to activate. You can get a hideout in this guy. This one is now protected from Kulum just because, or from Vados, because it can't be Vados twice. You cannot use this card more than once per turn. I'm still quite curious to see how strong the graveyard effect of Vados ends up being.
Yeah, absolutely. It may cause some real issues here. If it destroys the entire field as well, it might even cause issues for both of the opponents in this situation.
I mean, we are already setting up an out to the situation rather early with the hideout or with the breakaway that we have added, so we can add back Crackle to hand and destroy the Vados. But of course there is Varudras, the final bringer of end times. So this one is also now protecting from potential hand traps, and not only that, also from the breakaway in the next turn.
Using the Kowloon City, the hideout in the sky Kowloon here as well. I keep getting the name wrong on that one.
That is super fine.
Going to be adding I believe that's the Surge, I think that's going to be, but just considering which one we're going to go for here as well.
It looks like Surge.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Ray a little bit.
I see that, yeah, I can see that. Still just considering our move, and yes, seems to be the Surge be added to hand here at this moment in time.
So, Surge is added. We have resolved that now fully. Now I think we're going to start perhaps with destroying the Crackle. Exactly, we want to take away resources. We want to take away the breakaway pop that is possible. Of course, you have started the turn with breakaway. Player like Richard does not forget about his potential triggers, no matter how many minutes they have been away from you. And now, Grain, of course, even if your Sacred Beast combo gets stopped, quote unquote, because honestly there is a Varudras.
Plenty enough there at this point, yeah.
He put down a Varudras through the Crackle plus Vados combination.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see that Grain using the effect and adding that Whisker to hand as well. Again, this is such a difficult matchup here for Jonas to be dealing with. He's done his best to try and interact as best he can during this turn, but at this point I believe he will be starting out with a 4-card hand in his opening turn, which is going to be rather an uphill battle to get through this field here.
This deck is completely insane. Don't get me. I think you should run this in the main event, because we have had successful players with Sacred Beast, and we have had successful players with Blitzclique already in the main event. So I think a bunch of those we're going to see in top 64 later on. Now Whisker is being summoned from hand, only summoning one, and he is popping the Vados, and now of course Vados can trigger, so Richard can negate it with the Varudras. Now chaining one is Grain, of course, as a trigger, because it's on his own turn, and then the Whisker also takes care of it. You don't want to detach anything from that Varudras just yet.
Oh, that's really a very intelligent play, you know, to cycle your own resources in a way that maybe your opponent wasn't expecting here as well, because I'm sure that Jonas was waiting on that Vados being an issue here, but destroying it yourself and dealing with it in such a way that actually you seem to plus off of it is really impressive.
And 2 more set cards. This is through 2 hand traps to Vados and Crackle. This is basically more than the full Blitzclique field. That is higher than the ceiling of Jonas' entire deck. He has Whisker, he has a Surge good setup, he has Varudras and 2 set cards, one of which is very likely to be breakaway. Does Jonas have anything to answer this with? And most importantly, where are you even starting? If you have a Lava Golem, probably Varudras and Whisker. There it is.
Bang on the money there, Leo. Getting rid of those two massive threats from the field with that lava golem. Yet again, a favorite in this game, it seems, of both players.
Because you don't really need your normal summon all the time. That is the beauty of that deck. Now Jonas is using the breakaway, and the question now that I'm asking myself is, we're activating Alternator. Is Alternator going to immediately search us something, or are we waiting for Jonas to commit into the field and then possibly search something like an EUWCQ? I think we've revealed the grain, and this one is then going to search for the EMI. So we are going to pop the token, and that seems like, oh yeah, of course, we pop the token, so we use the search. Search is going to get us Whisker. Of course, we can chain block that with a breakaway from the graveyard, and then after everything, we just have the same exact setup that we had before the Lava Golem minus the Varudras.
That really is impressive. It turns the Lava Golem into essentially just a kaiju, which is, I guess, not nothing, but it has taken down the impact rather drastically from what we were expecting it to be.
This deck is hilarious. The Blitzclique cards, they are just so incredibly resilient whenever your opponent throws something at you. Because I think in this format, there's also not that much destruction protection.
I don't think so at all. It probably exists, but I don't think we have anything here at this current moment, at the very least. This is more than an uphill battle at the moment for Jonas. This is seeming very difficult. Both players dealing the best they can in the situation, but it's not going to be easy.
It's looking like it's an up-mountain battle for Jonas, if you can say that, because he has to play versus the infinite engine of Blitzclique, and the big question is, how many interruptions are there still? Alternator is a fantastic card, but it also has some limitations.
Yeah, that it does. Activating that from the deck with the breakaway here. Really trying to see how Jonas is going to pull it out the bag here.
Jonas with a phenomenal run at the, I think, last Austrian Open in Vienna. Was one of the top 4 there. Very, very strong player from a region in southern Germany.
Richard checking his graveyard here as well. Just making sure it's not missed anything by the looks of things. We're seeing Jonas considering, as he's searching his deck, what would be best to go for. I believe that could be a Surge being added to hand here by the looks of things.
Yeah. Basically everything starts with the Surge. Now the big question. Oh, Grain popped the Alternator. Now that is rather interesting, since we have already used Breakaway. So how useful is the Grain Search anyways if we are prioritizing this over summoning the Search first? However, we could use Alternator. The last one we have used in the first turn of Richard.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we are able to get the effect of the Breakaway out here as well to add back to hand maybe, but we are getting the Surge here to summon itself to the field.
Do like that we haven't used Breakaway immediately, just because we can chain block later.
Absolutely, 100%. We see that destroying the Lava Golem here, just summon itself to the field and gain hopefully some effects here. I think we are using the Chaining 1 Grain, Chaining 2 Breakaway by the looks of things here.
Very smart move of Jonas to target the Lava Golem with the Search effect, because otherwise, if there is a return stroke set for Richard, he could just chain that. If he targeted Emi or Surge, the card wouldn't have been destroyed, and then there wouldn't have been a summon from hand of a Blitzclique monster. Therefore, it wouldn't have been a Surge summon, and then you can just pack it up anyways.
Yeah, absolutely correct there. Adding an alternative back to your own hand for Richard there here as well. And I think to negate that Grain, because I don't think that cares about chain blocking.
No, I think he has just okayed the... Oh no, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think that is just negating a card on the field and not activate the last activated effect, if I'm not much mistaken. So that is... We have another Vados here. Whether or not this is going to be enough remains to be seen, but it does at least hit the field.
Now Richard still does have a Whisker in hand, and now it is possibly the right timing for Richard There's still priority on the side of Jonas with the trigger of Surge, and Richard actually lets that go through. If Jonas decides to bring out his own Whisker to destroy the Vados on the side of Richard, Richard can answer with his own Whisker to make sure that... Oh no, I think Jonas could chain block this. I think this is a commanding spot for Jonas actually, with another Vados on the field, because if Richard sets up a Whisker to take care of the Vados effect... Oh no, he has used the breakaway already.
Do we maybe just let the Vados resolve and then Whisker afterwards?
That is also an option, yeah. But then Whisker has nothing to bounce back.
I see.
We have another monster in hand, perhaps a Thunder Monster.
Yeah.
But... Charles, I don't know whether we can actually chain block the Vados in our graveyard.
We have our own Whisker here for Jonas inside of the field here as well. Added to the hand of the Surge there.
The Surge.
The Surge. Very good.
Jonas showing, hey, if I stop your crazy engine of the Sacred Beast, I actually can play the Blitzclique mirror like it's a normal one. And let me tell you something, I am a master of the grind game. So Jonas now access to another breakaway perhaps, right? Or we are searching for the step leader because we do not have that one in rotation yet. She gets another hideout in the sky.
Absolutely.
Activating that one. And what we could now do... Is he... Maybe I'm tunneling too much into the idea of chain blocking the Vados, because it also basically destroys every card that he has set up.
Yeah.
But
I think it is an interesting thought process to try and figure out how to make it work, but it is also... Can you chain block it? And even if you can't, is it the end of the world? Is that what you want to negate here? Again, I think it might be the case of using the Whisker afterwards, maybe. Yeah. I could be wrong on that.
The thing is, you can now add Emi, affect Emi, pop your own hideout in the sky, and then you could Whisker to destroy... Oh, we have popped the breakaway, the set breakaway. Emi is a very, very versatile card. And we have already triggered all of our monsters here, so there is no more extra effects to be gained from this. And now this is some Emi on Emi action, taking out the defense position Emi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only 300, should have summoned an attack position. Are we ever Whiskering here? And of course, yeah, there is a Kulum on the side of Jonas, so he can actually just in the Surge mirror attack over the Blitzclique Surge.
It's very interesting. I'm a bit quiet because I'm just trying to figure out like what... This is a difficult game state for, I think, both players to navigate well, because that Vados is there almost literally like a ticking time bomb, and I think both players are having to really try and figure out how best to play around it, because I think both of them could use their advantage in this situation.
I think that is so interesting here, because Jonas just basically says, okay, I'm just going to set a card now, and you know what? If you are extending too much in your turn, I am going to try to destroy the Vados and take care of this situation myself. Now Richard on the other side also kind of does have some agenda, but I need to read the Vados again, because if this is an optional effect, then Richard has no agenda over the Vados.
We do see that Whisker being activated here during the end phase, I believe.
Optional.
Optional, interesting. Destroying the breakaway to summon itself to the field and get that hidden hideout in the Sky Column and the, I believe, breakaway back to hand by the looks of things here.
So, how can Jonas actually still... Does he have access to a Crackle? I think the only monster he has in his hand is... The only monster that he has in his hand is the Whisker. And getting that Whisker life is not that easy. Of course, now we got in a little bit of a destruction effect from Emi. So we actually search for the return stroke. However, in the end phase, that does not help us that much. But now we are using the Whisker ourselves to pop the Whisker of Richard.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, Emmy on Emmy. Now it's Whisker on Whisker, just getting that sort of the mirrored versions of themselves destroyed during Jonas' end phase here. Richard starting off his turn. I think we all thought it might have been curtains for Jonas here, but he's done a stellar job in pulling back from where he was at the start of his turn as well.
I mean, it's still going to be hard for him to interact with his opponent because I think he can just turn that Vados into attack position and attack over the Emi. That makes the Whisker effect much less threatening. Because if you activate any monster effect and then Jonas just says, hey, you know what, Whisker, bounce back my Emi for cost, Emi is going to trigger, summon itself back, destroy a card on the field. That is going to trigger Grain and Surge and the Breakout as well. If you even want that, you're going to get access to another Whisker that is going to be live immediately as well. You can summon that Whisker, pop something, for example the Vados, when your opponent tries to extend more into the field, and then you can trigger Vados and Chainlink to Breakaway.
Yeah, we see as well here the Sacred Beast released from the graveyard effect, adding that Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder from the deck to the hand, activating the effect to reveal it, to add, I guess, another one of those cards to the hand as well. Why would you not? It's add 3, it's very powerful. We're going to be searching for another Sacred Beast released to add to the hand here.
Richard hasn't really found his way through all of these Sacred Beast cards, so it does not feel like the engine is really running right now. However, even if he gets 2 level 10s onto the field, Varudras has already been gone through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting place for Richard to be in at the moment. It might be that he's trying to bait out interactions on the Sacred Beast. It is they kind of force interactions because on the field they are really, just them in and of themselves, are a very powerful presence.
Yeah.
So if you have to interact to stop that, you might run out of interactions to stop the Blitzclique cards.
Sometimes I forget that having a monster with 4,000 attack points is...
It's pretty good.
Yeah, the game is so centered around the first turn and setting up a good field and then perhaps winning with that sometimes just having battle phases is something that you overlook.
I mean, they do also have powerful effects as well. So you got that to remember, where you can just leave them on your field at the end of your turn, and that's enough sometimes to get you to your next turn, because they themselves are no slouches in that department. Adding the Martyr, the Raviel, and the Hamon to hand and discarding one of the...
Thunderclap and a Hideout.
And a Hideout, yeah.
Because Hideout, of course, you can just add back if you destroy something with a Blitzclique effect. And that already should be a warning signal for Jonas, because that means that Richard is planning on destroying some cards, no matter what happens.
Oh, we see the search here coming out for the Thunder King. The words Thunder King, the Lightning Strike card will be added to the hand.
Wow.
Going to be able to quickly remove the favorite threat here for Richard.
Thunder King, the Kaiju, is so strong onto the Whisker. So that is going to take away the interruption, and most importantly, it is going to really stop Jonas' engine from working. However, I do think that the Blitzclique monsters, I really need to fact check this before I say this. We've seen this before, also trigger on destruction of something else.
I believe at least some of them do, if not all of them.
Yeah, if another card is destroyed by card effect, something like Surge, they trigger. So Richard has to pay a lot of attention on what he does with his own Blitzclique cards before he pops off and then pops one card, destroys one card on accident, and then Surge says, hey, I'm going to get a Whisker back. Whisker is going to destroy 3 cards of yours, and then I'm going to trigger my Vados in Chainlink 1, the Breakaway that I still have in the graveyard on Chainlink 2, add that back, get more resources, you destroy everything on the field, you have overcommitted, and then it's Jonas' turn again. So he has to be incredibly careful of how he uses his Blitzclique cards.
Yeah, very true here. We see the, I think, is it discard 3?
Yeah.
Adding that Raviel back to the hand here. Again, just 4,000 attack. It's not nothing. It's something to be respected, I have to say.
And he just summoned it because of the Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast.
Yeah.
And that is already setting up quite some damage. This one actually even runs over that Thunder Kaiju. So we are in a sublime position to just attack. But I think that he can actually just play a little bit more.
send 3 monsters here to summon the Hamon Lord of Striking Thunder as well. Then tributing to offer the effect of Raviel to remove the field. And that is it for Jonas, it seems. We saw the handshake.
Infinity of the Sacred Beast, Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, actually gets Richard to Japan to the Jump Festa with the effect destroying 4 cards, destroying everything on Jonas' side, getting up to 8,000 attack points with a Sacred Beast that is true Yu-Gi-Oh! Poetry.
Absolutely. Again, the GX fanboy in me is very happy to see these cards doing so well in any given format and piloted expertly by Richard here. An absolute pleasure to see this game get played out from start to finish. We are going to throw it over now to a short break before we move over to the next match.